that OG are fully prepared for this. Doesn't matter. New rosters, new anything. T-Gov, it seems like they're locked and loaded, you know, making sure that things are going to go smooth sailing.
Yeah, I'd agree. This is this is an exciting series. It's looking great. OG's dominant. VP needs to prove themselves because they bombed out the major. That's about it.
You didn't say the thing, T.
T, you got to do the thing.
They better say the thing.
Say the thing.
I'll
Get the
say
put the camera on him. He needs to say the thing.
Give him his ISO shot again.
We agreed to it.
I'm just trying to keep myself afloat with all this Dota that we have on.
Wait. Do it again.
My arms are suffocating and I legit can't take them off.
Listen, stop complaining.
Stop complaining.
I have to wear this biker jacket.
No one forced you to wear that.
I see what people are saying in Twitch chat about this. Okay, it's not very nice.
Mate, you look absolutely
dashing.
Fabulous. Look at you. And
You're
then
such a good.
Look at us. Look at us. This is what.
Is
all
there
these
like
years of Dota and analysis has come down to this very point where we're wearing armbandies, talking about OG versus VP. Look at us. High five, brother.
You just want to do the high five on stream.
I want to do the high five.
You couldn't see the leg action, but we have some leg action.
But there was
going
leg
on
action.
there. Yeah, there was leg action. Anyway, back to you, Tsunami.
Back to you, Tsunami.
This is the future of Dota broadcasting. This is what you get. You thought that suits and ties were a little bit too formal. We're getting too used to this, and now look what's happened. Look at how far the mighty have fallen. Such as VP. VP looking at the top of their Eastern European DPC, and then Animator. Not great.
Okay, let me defend them here for a second.
Defend them while we take a look at the standings.
Okay.
Show me the standings and give me a defense.
Let's see the standings. Yep.
That's standing.
Good stuff.
Here's the defense for VP. So I was watching a bunch of their replays because I was trying to figure this out too.
How many replays there, Jenkins?
I don't know, like 5 or something.
That's a lot of replays.
That's a lot of replays.
As you were saying,
I was trying to deep dive into each one of them, okay? And I think that's all you need because you can kind of tell a team's identity. And one thing that I noticed with VP is that they are extremely high skill. They win lanes. They're very high rank players, and they're young. So they've got the
fire, the drive.
No, the what's the word? They're not slow like old people, like us.
The reflexes.
The reflexes,
they
that's
have
the word.
gusto.
Yes, they have gusto.
Much gusto.
Or gusto, whatever you said. But...
No, I think he's on Alliance.
Is he on?
No, yeah, he's on Alliance.
Yeah, he's the offlaner, yeah. But with that being said, they at the major got in a little over their heads sometimes. And so there was that one play with Save on Windranger. He was diving into the base.
Yeah.
It was a pretty popular clip. Kind of insane. Gets solo killed. I think Nightfall, there were a few times he was pushing up to waves that every single high-ranked Dota player is going to know. You're not supposed to be farming those waves. He knows he's doing it anyway because of some psychological factors there. So basically, I think with VP, all they need to do is take a step back and play a little bit more structured, less pub-like, maybe with a little bit less gusto.
Yeah.
And legitimately, this team looks amazing. Other than that, other than like the solo pickoffs that they're giving away, they look amazing. They win lanes and then they lose the game.
I think the main thing that you're trying to say here is they have a lot of time that is focused on themselves and how they want to play and how they want to approach the series and kind of competition. But it's that ability to digest what your opponent is doing and kind of get the image of VP to meld into the series that you're playing, right? Like when VP faces up against, what was it? Nigma in the upper bracket, lose 2-0. They're not playing the Virtus Pro style to beat Nigma. They're playing Virtus Pro Dota. And then, of course, Nigma just has studied it and they're aware.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. I think they don't have a coach, right?
No, they don't. They have they obviously have management. They have players, but they are lacking a coach. Which potentially, like, remember I think it was on Reddit with Xiaowei and kind of the understanding of Virtus Pro is like they won scrims with like TA second pick, but like when they come to like the main kind of tournament, they haven't really developed like the plan B or the kind of the next development of Virtus Pro. And I guess that's main issue for VP is they do just spend so much time in their pubs focusing on their raw talent, which they have an abundance.
They have so much of it. That's the thing.
Too much talent.
Too much talent. And legitimately, a coach, as much as it's like people say it's a typical thing with any team that doesn't have a coach, they lose like they should have a coach. With a team that's that young, with a team that has that much talent, that wins lanes against teams like EG. Like this is the team you want to coach on, man. You need an old guy to tell them what to do, and I think that should be T Governor here today.
And that is why I am taking off the armbands. Oh wait, they're literally stuck on. I can't leave this panel. I'm stuck here. Oh well.
Well, sorry, VP.
What a shame. If you want to know more about VP, I can oblige you though, because for a young team, not only would a coach help with the in-game stuff, but maybe the out-of-game stuff too, because I think there were a lot of expectations on that team, as we'll hear from Save.
That's why he's got, like, by the time the Aegis goes, he's got Reincarnation back up, the Shallow Grave, and then, like...
Yes, he would have the cool... I mean, Aegis would be gone.
But then the Reincarnation just ticks through.
Wait. Okay, let me think about this for a second. So, the Reincarnation is a 60-second cooldown.
Correct.
He thinks he's going to die more often than 60 seconds with Kyle.
Every Kyle one-liner just hits him that hard. It's like, bam!
Right. We're straight into the ocean. He's done. And then it's like,
I'm done.
Reincarnation.
I'm down here now, too.
Okay.
Can you help him up, please?
Okay.
Don't worry, let's stay afloat. I took off one of my dinghies.
You're very frail.
I took off one of these.
This is what you get. Didn't stay afloat.
But
you know who is staying afloat in this tournament? It's OG.
Yeah, OG.
That's right. They are 2-0ing their first opponent, AS Monaco Gambit, making it look good, making it look easy, making it look like they've played with Sumail before, because they have. A year ago, a little over a year ago, this was the game plan for OG, as they were hot off their TI9 win, looking for their third, and then COVID happens, no lands happen, things fall apart. But now the King's back, and it was looking quite good. And more importantly, I think it was fun to see Topson playing Topson-y things, as usual, in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think the key thing that we have to note here is OG looked very dominant in the first series, but the key thing was Sumail's hero pool. He played a Leshrac carry, and he played Furion carry. We're yet to see him play the more standard style of carries, be it the Spectre, the Terrorblade, Naga Siren, Phantom Lancer, the heroes of the major. And I think that's maybe where, against Virtus Pro, they might need to look to open up the hero pool.
No. I can tell you, he plays those, because in NA pubs, the only person that's going to carry the game is you. So he doesn't play these Leshracks and Nature's Prophets and NA. I know, but he's been in NA for the last year or so. Pubbing, I've been ruining them, going 1-17. I believe he did avoid me. But so he has been playing these Phantom Lancers and Terrorblades, because that's how you have to win in those pubs. Your team is just down mid, you need a 1v5. So he does know how to play those. I'd say that's his bread and butter.
But you told me in these European pubs, what's his Phantom Lancer win rate in 4 games played?
4 losses. Again, we can't read too much into PUBG.
I'm reading into it.
I guess we should read. Stats don't lie.
Phantom Lancer, bad hero. OG, don't pick it.
I do think that's a little accurate.
Yeah, it's actually a little
PL was
accurate.
a bit of a loose cannon.
Where we saw PL be successful, though, was when he was against 2 heroes that he could mana drain, some like Bristleback plus Timbersawed Raft, something along those lines. I think that's when it looks good. Other than that, I don't think you want to go for that like Octarine Diffusive build. A lot of these other carries seem to just out-carry it right now.
Yeah, and I guess seeing after how Gambit went for a very animajory draft, you think VP is going to change their approach at all, or you think that they're too entrenched in these strategies, T?
I think the good thing for VP, at least, is they got knocked out of the major so quickly. They've had plenty of time to reflect on what went wrong and to understand what teams are doing right. So if they have the same OG approach of kind of understanding, studying, and improving on, then maybe VP will come into this tournament with kind of a new look, because moving from the league to the major, they didn't really change anything. They kept the same hero picks, they kept the kind of same philosophy, that confidence. So you would hope, because they've had more time than other teams, that they are going to be able to build upon that.
I forgot the teams, by the way. They obviously didn't play EG in the major. I'm a dumbass. But they played against Vici and Enigma, and in both of those games, VP did extremely well in the lanes. I think that's a huge strength for them. And maybe where they could take advantage is, I believe Thompson literally just plays what he has fun with.
Yeah.
I think people look at what Thompson's playing, they're like, it must be good. But I can tell you, there was a patch a little while ago, he was playing Pudge mid, and nobody was like, oh, Pudge mid is so good, because nobody's dumb enough to say that Pudge is good, right? So I think Thompson is just a for fun player, and I love that OG lets him play around that. I legitimately think that for some people, that's when their brain neurons fire the best, is when they're having a good time.
Just because of course you work in NA, being experienced with the EU and also the second season DPC.
Yes.
This is the exact narrative that we gave OG. You're coming into the league. Like,
is it?
It was so refreshing. They're so creative. I love it. And then 2 weeks,
they lose.
2 weeks deep. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you picking this? Why are you playing? Like, what's happening?
Well,
the early days of the tournament.
I'm effectively getting baptized right now.
Yes, it's European Dota.
Okay.
Welcome to Stockholm, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Please, welcome.
And welcome to our final series of the day. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, it's going to be the draft of VP versus OG. It's reasonable. Liquid, maybe people have been somewhat softened on them after this whole Boxy situation. Didn't get to play the Season 2 DPC, so maybe lost some practice. Tundra, underdogs, I suppose. What else?
Wait, so in regards to Liquid, have you mentioned the fact that you also had Insania playing carry today?
Yeah, that's a today thing. But yes, we did mention that when we were taking a look at the standings. If anyone just now tuned in and saw 2-0 Tundra over Liquid, part of the reason Mickey is not playing, and so it turns out that Insania was being the carry. As we can take a look at these standings, yeah, 2-0 Tundra over Liquid. If you're curious, maybe part of the reason, but also Tundra are a damn good team, and they're another contender for this European qualifier. But to me, I definitely feel like OG, it would be very weird if they get 2 Aegises and then they don't show up to the 3rd TI.
Yeah, that does feel strange.
But it would be a good chat, though, because all the OG fans will be like, why did the previous winner not get auto-invited? And then that whole narrative gets brought back around on Reddit.
Sure.
And we get to see that whole discussion come back around.
That discussion was eliminated whenever actual formal rankings became a thing, though.
Yeah.
Because I think, in post-TI4 newbie, there was also the same doubts if they would be able to come back, because I don't think between TI4 and TI5 newbie we're looking all too good, and people are like, dude, are they going to get invited? I don't really know. And so...
I think OG would prefer if everybody thinks that they have no chance.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
every single season, that is how it plays out. Every single season, they lower expectations, lower than the previous expectations before, because... You have to if you're taking a TI winning team and then a 2-time TI winning team being like, oh, they're not going to make it. So they're in their perfect place right now for that.
Yeah, this is pre-TI form for sure as we enter the draft, game number 1, OG versus VP. What's the newest Echo Saber builder that we can put on Topson for this game number 3? We already saw him on Pango, we saw him on Void Spirit. It kind of works on Monkey King. It doesn't work on the Wukong's Command Soldiers, but the Boundless Strike will not put Echo Saber on cooldown, although I guess the slow is kind of useless if you're stunning them.
I think Echo Saber heroes that can build into VKB plus Orchid are sick. Mm-hmm. So Kunkka, to me, seems like one of the best possible heroes for this. I think we saw it during the Animajor. Remember when people were going Orchid Rush on Kunkka mid and it looked pretty good? Mm-hmm. He's been buffed 10 billion times, and obviously as a melee strength hero, he loves getting a BKB.
Yeah, and interesting to note as well, in this series alone, OG's been first pick in all of their games so far at ESL Summer. So this is now the 3rd game in a row. Nothing too much to read into potentially, but OG already kind of showing some potential preferences here. They've also been dire in all 3 games as well.
First pick Dire.
But yeah.
Dire sucks, dude. Dire's trash. No offense. Any Dire fans out there?
So many Dire fans.
What was I heard the Animajor was an exception to what is typically the Radiant versus Dire win rate.
Really?
Are you referring to the Knoxville tweet?
Maybe.
Okay, I know Knoxville did a tweet about Radiant v Dire, and that this patch alone for pubs, Dire had like the best win rate or like one of the top win rates out of previous patches.
In pubs.
In pubs, correct, yeah.
But was it still, was it above 50% is the question?
I believe it was very close to
like as in is it better, is Dire better than Radiant, or is it just better than previous crappy Dire?
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I think it was above 50.
Mm-hmm. Really?
For the pub scene, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that was replicated in the Animajor.
Well, you know what is getting replicated? It's VP's opening. They've played DPC, the major, and now ESL Summer with the exact same formula.
So annoying.
Lion Timber.
Yeah, it's such a pain being an ET against this Timber Saw hero. You just die if you try to punch him, and then your punches don't do anything to him once Timber hits level 3.
And there's your Echo Saber hero with the Void Spirit. It is interesting to note that Virtus Pro, in their opening bans, they did show a lot of respect towards this Leshrac. OG's played it once so far, and it's now, after that one game alone, has been put up into the top 2 bans. That means that the heroes being let through was going to be Hoodwink, but of course, OG opts to go for the Void Spirit over Topson's other favorite hero, being the little squirrel.
Yeah, they just like this new Echo Saber meme, which I don't blame them. A lot of the Animajor was determined by items and what were the broken new items. So if they think they found something that's really good, then why not just pick heroes around that, see how it goes? That makes a lot of sense to me.
Again, this is kind of what Topson brings to OG. It's like he subscribes to an item or a philosophy, and he'll try and replicate that across as many heroes as possible. In Season 2 DPC, he was buying Dragonlance, for example. There was a good 2 or 3 series that were made very interesting due to the desire to buy said item.
I think Dragonlance is really good. You see a lot of teams doing that too. That was like one of the... It went like Dragonlance, Eon Disc, Holy Locket in terms of the progression of what items people think are OP. And now people buy all of those. They buy a lot of Eon Discs. And then it seems like this Echo Saber disassembling thing is getting picked up now.
But we did just hear in the Viking interview that he doesn't think that Aeon Disc should be on cores, for example. Or carries, at least, I think, to be very clear.
As in, like, even in this patch, or that's what he would like to see?
Is that what I believe that's what he said in the interview. He kind of chuckled at the idea of carries buying Aeon Disc.
I think carries ideally want to... You're building, like, the satanic Sanjin Yasha sort of thing, yeah. So the Aeon Disc doesn't make as much sense, because you're trying to be the hero that's taking the damage and surviving in the fights. Anyway, this ban phase is always so long, and when you have this 4th pick, usually this means that you can ban out 3 heroes that counter that 4th pick.
I do hope that Kyle, because of course, Kyle is gracefully casting his final series. I hope he's also listening to this panel, and he'd be proud of you, Jenkins, for filling the void on this panel at ESL, because you just used Kyle's most favorite line in a draft analysis. Oh, the second phase of bans is subsequently so long.
Listen, I'm not a captain, okay? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so I noticed this for the first time, and I'm mind blown by it. Just like a child, for the first time that they ride a bike, getting on and falling down. That's what I'm doing right now.
Well, if you want to try and learn how to ride a bike, Jenkins, look at the fact that OG has picked Void Spirit, and you know it's most likely going to be for Topson. These 3 bans thereafter, most likely is Topson kind of whispering into...
Yes, please ban these.
Exactly. So if you ever want to beat Void Spirit in the mid lane, look at the heroes that OG is banning out, because it's a very kind of one-for-one tell.
So maybe Puck, perhaps? We see the Viper.
Yeah, Puck owns Void Spirit in the game.
But Void Spirit owns Puck in the lane.
In the lane. I mean, I think that's like a pretty skill. It's like pretty skill based, isn't it? Because Puck can like orb to take all of the runes, right? And you just push out the lane. I think with the water runes, it's very skill based. But in the game, like if you get a Yule Scepter, you can catch the Puck. If you get an Orchid, you can catch the Puck with Void Spirit. That's a weird matchup. It's swung both ways in the past.
Okay, so if I wasn't looking at OG, would you still advocate for Echo Saber on Void Spirit over Yule's, or is it only really a thing on Topson?
Depends on what you're up against.
Yeah.
Explain the context that you would prefer Yule's over Echo Saber.
If the enemy team has a lot of silence, something that you need to... If you need to purge something, if you lack catch on your team, then Void Spirit can be your initiator. With the Echo Saber, you're more playing to take long fights, to do damage, to scale. Okay. And so sometimes you don't want to do that on Void Spirit, but I think that it makes a lot of sense doing that in this patch, just because Void Spirit with the Orchid build and with the Yule's build has fallen off, and so to bring the hero back into the meta, I think doing a new build does make a lot of sense.
It does, yeah. And also, kind of the style that is being played right now, there is a lot of emphasis on killing these enabling supports that aren't really, like, they need to be shut out straight away. And this kind of Void Spirit, if you go for Echo Saber build, it is that ability to go in the backlines and you have your own independent kill threat where you're not relying on enabling damage. You independently will force VP to bring 2 or 3 heroes to deal with this one source of, fight, and then you'll have extra layers coming in. So I can see why it has its merits right now, but again, it's early days. We're probably getting a little bit too excited about it because it's worked already, but there could be... I'm
just excited about items because of the Animator. It was such a huge factor there, and something else that we saw a lot with in the Animator with the Timbersaw pick is typically there will be some hero to do tower damage with the Timber because he's great at tanking towers and he can do that forever, like literally infinitely. But then you don't do very much damage to towers, and so Train Protector was like the classic counter because his little poke damage you would just heal for it. And all of these heroes banned out by OG are some good tower hitters.
Exactly. Anti mid lane for the Void Spirit.
Both kind of roles they fulfill.
For VP though, I like the Luna ban. That's the development of kind of Nigma's strategy for beating the Timbersaw. It's what put VP into the lower bracket, was simply the Luna matchups into Timbersaw. You get to play off of Lucent Beam and you just kind of ignore the hero eventually, just move to the other lane and just kind of sweep across the map.
Winter Wyvern now gets picked up. It was 62% win rate at the Animator. I think of all the supports that had a glow up in the latter half of the tournament as the heal meta evolved, Wyvern was probably the most important of those.
It could just be like another Mirana pick for OG. Play off of skirmishing, you can have a Vessel buyer now, to kind of the dual threat of dealing with Timber and the Cold Embraced Holy Locket that we've seen from Wyverns and why it's so strong. And you have to think about the mid lane setup. Void Spirit with that Remnant, you can draw people into an arrow.
Yeah, I think you need something.
Ooh, okay, let's go for that. Okay.
Okay, so we don't know where this is going to go, but I think something to play off of the Cold Embrace is good, because I don't see how you ever kill a Timbersaw who's Cold Embraced with a Holy Locket. Like, that is not possible.
I will say, every time that we've seen Topson, he's been giggling, he's been laughing, chuckling, you know? And that alone invokes fear, but potentially his voice for it, maybe there's a little bit of flex occurring here. Now he's happy because, like, haha, now I've got my hoodwink.
And Sox is looking terrified. He's like, "Oh God, do I have to play voice spirit now?"
Exactly.
Fire, but to me, I definitely feel like OG. It would be very weird if they get 2 Aegises and then they don't show up to the 3rd TI.
Yeah, that does feel strange.
But it would be a good chat though, because you know all the OG fans will be like, "Why did the previous one not get auto-invited?" And then that whole narrative gets brought back around to Reddit.
Sure.
See that whole discussion come back around.
That discussion was eliminated whenever actual formal rankings became a thing, though.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, in post-TI4 and newbie, there was also the same doubts if they would be able to come back. Because I don't think between TI4 and TI5 newbie we're looking all too good, and people are like, "Dude, are they going to get invited?" I don't really know. And so,
you know, I think OG would prefer if everybody thinks that they have no chance.
Yeah.
Because every single season, that is how it plays out. Every single season, they lower expectations, lower than the previous expectations before, because you have to if you're taking a TI winning team and then a 2-time TI winning team being like, "Oh, they're not going to make it." So they're in their perfect place right now for that.
Yeah, this is pre-TI form for sure as we enter the draft, game number 1, OG versus VP. What's the newest Echo Saber builder that we can put on Topson for this game number 3? We already saw him on Pango, we saw him on Void Spirit. It kind of works on Monkey King. It doesn't work on the Wukong's Command Soldiers, but the Boundless Strike will not put Echo Saber on cooldown, although I guess the slow is kind of useless if you're stunning them.
I think Echo Saber heroes that can build into BKB plus Orchid are sick. So Kunkka, to me, seems like one of the best possible heroes for this. I think we saw during the Animator. Remember when people were going Orchid Rush on Kunkka mid, and it looked pretty good? He's been buffed 10 billion times, and obviously as a melee strength hero, he loves getting a BKB.
Yeah, and interesting to note as well, in this series alone, OG's been first pick in all of their games so far at ESL Summer. This is now the 3rd game in a row. Nothing too much to read into potentially, but OG already kind of showing some potential preferences here. They've also been Dire in all 3 games as well.
First pick Dire.
But yeah.
Dire sucks, dude. Dire's trash. No offense. Any Dire fans out there?
So many Dire fans.
What was the... I heard the Animator was an exception to what is typically the Radiant versus Dire win rate.
Really?
Are you referring to the Knoxville tweet?
Maybe.
Okay, I know Knoxville did a tweet about Radiant v Dire, and that this patch alone for pubs, Dire had like the best win rate for, or like one of the top win rates out of previous patches
in pubs.
Okay,
pubs, correct, yeah.
But was it still? Was it above 50%? Is the question?
I believe it was very close.
Like, as in, is it better? Is Dire better than Radiant, or is it just better than previous crappy Dire?
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I think it was above 50.
Really?
For the pub scene, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that was replicated in the Animator.
Well, you know what's not getting, what is getting replicated? It's VP's opening. They've played DPC, the major, and now ESL Summer with the exact same formula.
So annoying.
Timber.
Yeah, it's such a pain being an ET against this Timbersaw hero. You just die if you try to punch him, and then your punches don't do anything to him once Timber hits level 3.
And there's your Saber hero with the Void Spirit. It is interesting to note that Virtus Pro, in their opening bans, they did show a lot of respect towards this Leshrac. OG's played it once so far, and it's now, after that 1 game alone, has been put up into the top 2 bans. That means that the heroes being let through was going to be Hoodwink, but of course, OG opted to go for the Void Spirit over Topson's other favorite hero, being a little old squirrel.
Yeah, they just like this new Echo Saber meme, which I don't blame them. A lot of the Animator was determined by items and what were the broken new items. So if they think they found something that's really good, then why not just pick heroes around that and see how it goes? That makes a lot of sense to me.
Again, this is kind of what Topson brings to OG. It's like he subscribes to an item or philosophy, and he'll try and replicate that across as many heroes as possible. In Season 2 DPC, he was buying Dragonlance, for example. There was a good 2 or 3 series that were, made very interesting due to the desire to buy said item.
I think Dragonlance is really good. You see a lot of teams doing that too. That was like one of the... It went like Dragonlance, Eon Disc, Holy Locket in terms of the progression of what items people think are OP. And now people buy all of those, they buy a lot of Eon discs, and then it seems like this Echo Saber disassembling thing is getting picked up now.
We did just hear in the Viking interview that he doesn't think that Aeon disc should be on cores, for example, or carries at least. I think to be very clear.
As in, like, even in this patch, or that's what he would like to see?
Is that what I believe that's what he said in the interview. He kind of chuckled at the idea of carries buying Aeon disc.
I think carries ideally want to. You're building like the satanic Sanjin Yasha sort of thing,
yeah.
So the Eon disc doesn't make as much sense because you're trying to be the hero that's taking the damage and surviving in the fights. Anyway, this ban phase is always so long, and when you have this 4th pick, usually this means that you can ban out 3 heroes that counter that 4th pick.
I do hope that Kyle, because of course, Kyle is gracefully casting his final series. I hope he's also listening to this panel, and he'd be proud of you, Jenkins, for filling the void on this panel at ESL, because you just used Kyle's most favorite line in a draft analysis. Oh, the second phase of bans, and it's subsequently so long.
Listen, I'm not a captain, okay? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so I noticed this for the first time, and I'm mind blown by it. Just like a child, the first time that they ride a bike, getting on and falling down, that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, if you want to try and learn how to ride a bike, Jenkins, look at the fact that OG has picked Void Spirit, and you know it's most likely gonna be for Topson. These 3 bans thereafter, most likely is Topson kind of whispering into...
Yes, please ban these.
Exactly. So if you ever want to beat Void Spirit in the mid lane, look at the heroes that OG is banning out, because it's a very kind of one-for-one tell.
So maybe Puck, perhaps? We see the Viper.
Yeah, Puck owns Void Spirit in the game.
But Void Spirit owns Puck in the lane.
In the lane. I mean, I think that's like a pretty it's like pretty skill-based, isn't it? Because Puck can like orb to take all of the runes, right? And you just push out the lane. I think with the water runes, it's like it's very skill-based. But in the game, like if you get a Yule Scepter, you can catch the Puck. If you get an Orchid, you can catch the Puck with Void Spirit. That's a weird matchup. It's swung both ways in the past.
Okay, so if I wasn't looking at OG, would you still advocate for Echo Saber on Void Spirit over Yule's, or is it only really a thing on Topson?
Depends on what you're up against.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Explain the context that you would prefer Yule's over Echo Saber.
If the enemy team has a lot of silence, something that you need to. If you lack, if you need to purge something, if you lack catch on your team, then Void Spirit can be your initiator. With the Echo Saber, you're more playing to take long fights to do damage to scale, and so sometimes you don't want to do that on Void Spirit. But I think that it makes a lot of sense doing that in this patch, just because Void Spirit with the Orchid build and with the Yule's build has fallen off, and so to bring the hero back into the meta, I think doing a new build does make a lot of sense.
It does, yeah, and also kind of the style that is being played right now, there is a lot of emphasis on killing these enabling supports that aren't really they need to be shut out straight away. And this is what kind of Void Spirit, if you go for Echo Saber build, it is that ability to go in the backlines and you have your own independent kill threat where you're not relying on enabling damage. You independently will force VP to bring 2 or 3 heroes to deal with this one source of fight, and then you'll have extra layers coming in. So I can see why it has its merits right now, but again, it's early days. We're probably getting a little bit too excited about it because it's worked already, but
I'm just excited about items because of the Animator. It was such a huge factor there. And something else that we saw a lot with in the Animator with the Timbersaw pick is typically there will be some hero to do tower damage with the Timber because he's great at tanking towers and he can do that forever, like literally infinitely. But then you don't do very much damage to towers, and so Train Protector was like the classic counter because his little poke damage you would just heal for it. And all of these heroes banned out by OG are some good tower hitters.
Exactly, anti mid lane for the Void Spirit.
Both kind of roles they fulfill.
For VP though, I like the Luna ban. That's the development of kind of Nigma's strategy for beating the Timbersaw. It's what put VP into the lower bracket. Was simply the Luna matchups into Timbersaw. You get to play off of Lucent Beam and you just kind of ignore the hero eventually, just move to the other lane and just kind of sweep across the map.
Winter Wyvern now gets picked up. It was 62% win rate at the Animator. I think of all the supports that had a glow up in the latter half of the tournament as the heal meta evolved, Wyvern was probably the most important of those.
It could just be like another Mirana pick for OG. Play off of skirmishing, you can have a vessel buyer now to kind of the dual threat of dealing with Timber and the cold embraced Holy Locket that we've seen from Wyverns and why it's so strong. And you have to think about the mid lane setup. Voice for it with that Remnant, you can draw people into an arrow.
I think you need something.
Okay, let's go for that instead. Okay.
Okay, so we don't know where this is gonna go, but I think something to play off of the Cold Embrace is good because I don't see how you ever kill a Timbersaw who's cold embraced with a Holy Locket. Like, that is not possible.
I will say that every time that we've seen Topson, he's been giggling, he's been laughing, chuckling, you know? And that alone invokes fear, but potentially his voice for it, maybe there's a little bit of flex occurring here. Now he's happy because like, haha, now I've got my hoodwink.
And Sox is looking terrified. He's like, oh god, do I have to play voice spirit now?
Exactly.
I don't want to do this.
He's shaking. He's shaking. Oh, no, he doesn't look great.
No.
Oh, my god, you picked Hoodwink and I have to play Void Spirit.
Oh, it's because they've picked Spectre and Anna's not on the team. That's why. They've all just had a moment of like, oh.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But Puck, I think this is a really good Puck game. Even with the Spectre being picked, all of these heroes are kind of mobile, especially the Void Spirit and the Hoodwink. And Puck is so good at just like catching them out. You can't be this Hoodwink that's being annoying in side lanes. Like Puck just TPs and kills you. Same with the Void Spirit. There's nothing you can do to get away from the coil.
And I think the main thing is we've seen Spectre v Timbersaw matchups where Spectre, of course, can play, you know, decently well in lane, level 4, level 5, and then when Timbersaw has that threat of 5 going to 6, Spectre does not like playing that lane, and he has to move away. In the game, for sure, Spectre can buy Manta, Diffusal, like the Echo Saber, the Skadi, and then the mana burn, the HP reduction. That's great for him, but I'm talking about 3-4 items for him to have a great game. And that's kind of, it's interesting that OG pick for such a scaling core. I guess it's mainly a product of the fact they picked like kind of 3 heavy skirmishing heroes, because they're going to look to take the fight, and eventually, sure, Timbersaw might have a good lane and occupy their jungle, but because of that forward-thinking fight they have, Spectre can farm behind. But it does put a lot of emphasis on VP being able to just kind of take the fight to OG.
Which I don't really know if they're going to be able to do with Wyvern, because the most common, most effective Wyvern pairings we've been seeing is like Leshrac and Death Prophet, which are both banned out, which are heroes that are able to deal damage while being embraced. Right now, if you want to take the fight, it pretty much relies solely on DM going beast mode on Timbersaw and existing between tier 1, tier 2 towers and constantly drawing a bunch of focus.
Which I think he can do given this draft. I really think this Hoodwink is a bit of a bait counter to the Timbersaw. I think if you have other things to deal with Timber, it's fine, because the break scales with how much you cast the spell, like how much time you use, and then also you have to hit it. Like if somebody stands in front of the Timber, and then also the armor stacks don't come off when you hit the break, so it's very, very awkward in this game. I think Timber's gonna have a pretty free game.
I think VP most likely will gravitate towards a Lifestealer or a Wraith King as their kind of final pick. It's if they go for Lifestealer, he can just play up into the early fight front line, and then in kind of the matchup against Spectre, he should be fine. And then if
I hate that matchup. Everybody says that it's Lifestealer favored, and then they just get shit on every single time.
But why though?
I don't know. I think Spectre.
Great.
I think
amazing Jenkins.
Well, because it's one of those old things people say, and it's just bullshit. It's not right. But it doesn't work.
Give some reason.
The dead hero.
Unpicked at the Annie Major, but now picked at ESL Summer.
And they're going monkey mode with and the bans from VP were geared towards Seb heroes, the Monkey King and the Tidehunter. Who's laning where on OG?
It could potentially be like ET offlane with the Earthshaker. Okay. And then you have like a 5 Hoodwink mid Void Spirit, carry Spectre.
I feel like Spectre is
so many options.
Thompson's gonna be flying the Hoodwink.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's been giggling.
That's a given. Void Spirit. I'm gonna guess to say maybe Void Spirit offlane.
Okay,
they go with the Wraith King. I see.
Typical way to deal with high and heavy commitment, like a Haunt, perhaps, and obviously just a strong hero in general. Which way you lean in Jenkins? Game number 1. It's going to actually be Seb Earthshaker. Reposition Earthshaker.
That's pretty cool.
Hoodwink will be played by Soxa, and Void Spirit be played by Topson.
I'm going to go VP. I'm going to go VP with this one. I think that they don't have much to deal with the Timber. I think he's going to run away with the game.
What's up with the Shaker 3-position, T-Gov? Do you know anything about this? This is your region that you covered.
I mean, I've played with a couple friends who played Earthshaker offlane, and they just try and tank up as quick as possible. They don't really go for Blink. It's more just kind of like the BKB style of just being in the front. But
you still go Ags?
Yeah, you go Ags eventually. I think the main thing here is OG has showed creativity once again, and it's more on VP. They have got the most kind of VP-esque draft that won them season 2 of DPC, but lost them the major. So they've won with this draft, they've lost with this draft. This has to be the refinement of this game is theirs to win, because it's like so much VP ingrained within it. And then, of course, OG, they're coming with a bit more flair. So I favor flair. I want to see Earthshaker do well. Unpicked at the major, but why does it have merit? OG show us right now.
And in your region, Jenkins, you saw plenty of 4-position Hoodwink on MSS. Were you convinced by it?
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I personally really like the Hoodwink. I think it's a really low cooldown stun. I think it's a really difficult hero to kill. It's a hero that can clear waves. It does all of the annoying things you want a 4-position to do, and then has a super low cooldown stun and a big nuke ulti. It's everything you want.
Yeah, and one of the difficulties of setting up have been mitigated because you've got stuns from Shaker, you've got Void Spirit, you've got Cold Embrace on the enemy team, so might see some successful sharp shooting being done, and might see some casting being done or heard by our remote casters of Capitalist and Kyle.
Nothing to say, nothing to say.
Thank you very much, Tsunami. That's right. We're going to be covering Virtus Pro versus OG. Kyle looking fine today, I see.
Yeah, we got a theme. Cap, what you doing, man? What is that?
I didn't really plan this out, to be honest. I didn't know I was supposed to wear sunglasses. Nobody told me.
Well, I got the memo. You gotta check your email, dude. Even OG started.
Lose together, win together,
and then maybe what OG has found out in their emails that apparently Earthshaker can be run again, not just as a 4 position.
30 seconds to battle.
No, that was in the spam folder. Unfortunately, they took it seriously and signed up.
Oh, no. Are you saying this is a phishing attempt? And this is one of those scams who
they fell for
Nigerian prince offers. All you have to do is just send him $20,000 and he'll unlock an Earthshaker core for you.
You know, I don't want to speak too soon. I think when we approach TI time, Earthshaker kind of always comes back into the meta. But it's just not great against Wraith King. I think Timbersaw, even though it opens, is just nigh uncountered. Yeah, sure, Hoodwink has a break, but that's removable by a Lotus Orb or a Self-Heals. And I'm very concerned with the damage output of OG in this game if Thompson does not crush.
To be fair, when you're talking about Earthshaker countering Wraith King, you mean like in a general game sense. Doesn't Earthshaker do well in lane against Wraith King?
It's not terrible, but it depends on the build. I think you can beat him if you go for the like enchant aftershock style. But I don't know. Like when I've seen offlane Earthshaker work, that's how it was played. But I haven't seen it in so long. I don't know if that's what Seb's gonna do.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. He did get Fisher level 1 just to be able to block the opposing creep wave, so his creeps would power, making it a little hard for the Wraith King. Oh, that's yes. We're gonna watch Saksa. Oh, nice bushwhack. Managed to pull save back in as he's trying to do this pulling of the creeps, and may end up dying here. So he's going to be run down river if they can get another bushwhack.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Oh, nice shot.
Loses his courier, but if he gets the kill...
Are you guys going to play the game? Are you guys going to play the game?
He tried to move over to low ground. I think he thought he was going to be able to get 2 hits in. Not the case.
I'm a big save fan now, after learning that I would be the person he wants to be stuck in a desert island with. So,
that's all
I'm quite happy escape. Yep. But we'll see. The Spectre top versus Timbersaw is an interesting lane. We saw this in the major quite a bit. They effectively just trade. No-Tail's going to do a little bit to help zone, but you really just can't against Timber. Although the tri-lane may force DM away. At least for now. I mean, the safe lane tri-lane makes sense, but there's a huge creep wave now facing Sumel, and DP likely just going to come up here and duel 2-on-3. Cure the XP at least.
Yeah, seems like not a terrible idea between the Earthshaker offline, so he can Fisher off for himself, and then their only solution to this Timbersaw early is just... We'll see how much longer this lasts, though. Sumail getting plenty of last hits under tower. I went back and looked at some of the carries that he was playing for OG the last time he was on this roster. And it started off, he was playing all those, hard carry. Phantom Lancer, he was playing Spectre. But as time went on, he was playing more and more aggressive heroes. It started turning into Lightning, Furion. DM may end up dying here. I thought he was going to be okay, and he will be. Loses most of his life, and they're extremely shoved out of lane.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Cap. I mean, we're probably not going to see it in this. Some strats are going to be saved. But looking at Sumail and the new OG, I really hope that by the time qualifiers roll around, they've got their special flavor, you know? But when you think about OG at TIs, they had pretty huge strategical edges. They had heroes nobody else could play. And I don't know if just putting Sumail on Ana's 4 heroes is really the best option for them as a roster.
Well, they at least got to be able to have the option.
I suppose, but Sumail, do you really see him as a Spectre player?
Maybe, but if the meta turns into you need to be able to play Phantom Lancer, Spectre, Morphling, like if you have to play hard carries in order to fit the patch, then by God, Sumail's gonna have to be that, right?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, we know we can morph. Spectre's is not really
Radiant structures are fortified.
Bottom lane, Seb.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Taking a bit of damage, but he's just going to go for the TP out. It's going to be a close call, but he does manage to Fountain, so he'll have to take a walk. Bit of a walk back. Thompson and this mid matchup up against GPK has been awfully close, but it looks like GPK has secured a large number of 6 denies for the puck against a Void Spirit. You're supposed to have a CS advantage as Voids, right?
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, GPK is probably the best mid laner in CS right now. He's just played the lane quite well. I think he double waved him at the very start of the game. But the concern I have is that if you look at Seb's CS, he's a little behind. He's going for the Tranquil style, and yeah, he's got 2 points Aftershock, so he'll be playing more of this aggressive, like, up-in-your-face style. But when I see an enemy Wraith King with phase boots up already, I get very concerned for the life of my offlane Shaker.
Seb once again trying to go on him as best he can. It looks like straight magic wand, blink dagger. Seb knows what he wants, and that is being able to start team fights as soon as possible. Way to be able to deal with it, especially since GPK is having a good laning phase. Having that instant disable a large amount of burst damage is always preferable against a puck. Thompson turning around and fighting them a little bit. It's just because
it's a very strange build. Okay, sorry, I for some reason didn't register he had a bottle. I'm like, what? He skipped bottle? But yeah, there's no way. Nobody does that.
That would be very weird. This patch of all things.
Yeah.
Thunder Blast not quite landing there onto the set. Around does manage to get 2-man Fisher. No, can actually fight. Nice pushwhack, but GPK offers more than enough damage.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, so far so good for VP. I'm looking at the OG lineup, and I'm finding some pretty big issues with their damage output. This is another storyline from the major, but if you think about it, Void Spirit, and Earthshaker, pretty much just XP based damage, not really scaling too hard. Whereas on the side of VP, not only do you have really tanky heroes like Timber and Wraith King, but you've got Sustain behind it. Bottom lane Seb is likely dead.
Yeah, he's Nightfall. He could pop a reincarnation, they could probably slow him down and kill him, but they're not able to. Bushwhack is going to be able to hold in Kingslayer here. Cold Embrace, not going to be able to TP out, so the OG's first kill of the game.
Seb, a little spooky there, but he did have a raindrop, so he would have been just fine if he caught that last blast.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You shall not.
DM, I think.
Silence.
Does manage to catch GPK, just poking at him. Want the reactions he can force.
The trouble is, got this
Dire's
all-planer disparity is pretty huge.
attack.
That's why we don't see the Earthshaker. Yeah, you can get this lane control back, but unlike Timbersaw, you can see it's just tanking tower and killing enemy safe lane. Earthshaker is now just sort of walking around with Tranquil boots.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, you can sit in lane, but I fear that DM might just come down here at a point and start bullying him out.
Oh yeah. Yourself in the safe lane, that's what Timbersons typically want to be able to do, but he doesn't need to right now because Nightfall feels so unthreatened, but since he doesn't have life. mid lane. They're going to try and jump on a Thompson here. If they had a way to be able to break the coil, this would be a lot easier, but it looks like they may run out of disables here as just a little bit more damage, but he does manage to double jump away. Thompson survived.
OG doing a nice job. They've got raindrops on how many heroes? Only 3, but very valuable against the puck specifically, along with the Wyvern. You get full reduction on any of their spells.
Regeneration!
Saber build for our Spectre. No early blade mail pick.
Dire's middle
we
tower
sometimes
is
see
under
as
attack.
I don't want to speak too soon, Cap, but VP, we saw this all year long, and sure they underperformed at the major, but like they're really far ahead when you consider the amount of map control that they have right now. And I don't see how OG start making moves. They have significant more core items up.
Slayer's like, okay, Super Wars. Fisher, the turnaround stop, but the Ninja Blast. Oh, the raindrop blocks the damage. They're okay. Echo Slam going down. No Tail still going to be chased down by Nightfall. The final crit does the trick to get the kill. Kingslayer, though, is going to be left behind. Nightfall, though, not too concerned. We'll just keep on pushing out the lane. Again, they are not addressing this Wraith King, and they are not
Dire's
addressing this
middle
Timbersaw
tower is under
tile.
attack.
I do believe your
Dire's
concerns are
structures are
well
fortified.
warranted.
Yeah, it's just VP, you know, when they looked rough, it was typically when they weren't able to do this kind of 3 lanes playing and fully. You know, it doesn't feel like any of the cores are really under any threat whatsoever. You can see all 3 populate the top of the net worth chart. And there's no natural playmaker on the side of OG in terms of either hero in the support duo. Yeah, Thompson can get involved, but the issue is, oh, hang on. No finger.
And on Thompson, no finger, as you said. So once again, it feels like they may run out of damage here. Follow up, there's the silence this time around to get him. But Sumail's going to show up for this fight immediately. Cold Embrace laid on to save. They're going to point blank stomp him. DPK has another round of spells coming in soon. This does not look good for OG whatsoever, especially now that DM is here. Sumail will manage to get that
Radiant's
one
bottom
kill,
tower
yes.
is under attack.
Haste Rune will be able to get out, but still. Does not look great, as now Virtus Pro are going to use this momentum hanging on that mid tower while Nightfall is still farming.
I mean, Sumail has haste, or otherwise I don't think he gets the kill or survives. Really nice movement from DM. He just shoves in top and just connects towards mid to guarantee he can win that engagement. And now I love it. Yeah, he's got a hood who just tanks tower, the offensive glyph. You're going to push with this catapult and secure tier 1 mid. And like you said, bottom lane, Nightfall, he has a relic and 600
Dire's
gold.
middle tower
He's just
is under
chilling.
attack.
I don't know, man. OG's getting... And they legitimately just look like they can't. This person's going to set up a double kill, most likely. Chop them through.
Creatures
with an L.
I don't know how to strategically analyze this one.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
VP just kind of casually collecting kills and towers. Now very, very far ahead in the network. We're going to check the replay. Yeah, Kingslayer just
Radiant's
uses his
top
button.
tower is
Says,
under
oh, hey,
attack.
those 2 heroes are on top of each other.
Radiant's
Alt one.
courier has been
And then my
killed.
Timber will kill both, because they're both strength heroes that were actually, in the case of Shaker, last pick into my Timber.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Now Nightfall's going to move up to the top lane, but he's going to have Relic now. Radiance expect in just a minute. There's going to be mix left on the map for OG to be able to farm. I mean, it's a good thing they have very active heroes, and they only want the Spectre farming.
invisibility.
Well, I think there's only going to be space for Spectre. Seb still needs to finish up his blink. That is one thing, is that he definitely needs the blink first. They're going to go for the shot. See, they kill the Lion, but now Sumail has been baited into a nasty position. He's going to lose his life. Sit from the finger.
Dire's
And,
middle tower is under
7-3,
attack.
5,000 net worth in. I mean, 5K is a lot, for sure. But we've seen teams come back from that. The problem is that I'm not even...
Radiant's
I'm
middle
concerned
tower
OG
is
don't
under
even
attack.
scale that well besides...
Bounty.
Radiant's bottom
I don't know,
tower
Cap.
is under attack.
I like how I've noticed you've started to pace your words slower.
Dire's middle tower is under
because
attack.
they're really, it's brutal right now. I'm watching.
Are you trying to say that we need to slow down our commentary because there's not anything to say, and so we just space things out? What?
Exactly.
Oh, I love you. Weiskar's bottom lane Kingslayer. He needs a TP in, and he's going to have one. DM actually faking the TP is not going to complete that one. So Sumail can still go for this dive, but OG have yet to pick up a kill anywhere in this. They're not going to, tower kill rather. They're not going to be able to take the bottom lane. It seems like Kingslayer's still going to hang out. See if there's going to be a rotation from Pro. I mean, if I'm VP, I don't want to give them anything. Once again, Kingslayer going to go for the Arctic Burn away. Sumail, he's going to pop the Haunt. He's not going to be able to kill the Winter Wyvern. I'm not sure where he's planning on going with this one, but okay, he's going to stay on top of Kingslayer. The break does actually hit. Sharpshooter onto the puck, brings in the low of the low. Save it's down here. They're going to be able to kill Seb. No Tail and Sumail are going to try and run down this puck. They don't really have any lockdown between the two of them. A little bit of damage here. GPK does a lot of damage over to Sumail and turns around. DM is able to finish him off. GPK gets away from the bushwhack. He's going to be okay. No Tail. And his stage. Sumail is going to fall behind. Well, sure enough, yeah. Virtus Pro, they don't even bring Nightfall to the engagement. Even though he had his Radiance, he decides, my team's got this one. I'm just going to push out mid lane.
I just want to clarify for the viewers at home. I'm a huge fan of Sumail and a proud owner of one of the only 10 Sumail liquid jerseys ever printed. But with that said, him and the boys are getting absolute on 5. Nightfall is 1-0-1. He's just chilling in the jungle, buying whatever he wants. DPK now with a blink. I don't know. Now there's an Echo Saber on top. I'm not sure. I know it's the item of the patch, Cap, but I don't know if the double attack is really going to create enough of a game-breaking situation here to help turn this around. However, Seb has a Blink Dagger, maxed out Aftershock. That could do it. He's the X Factor now for his squad.
He's going to have some sort of gigantic ult turn this game. Thompson with the Echo Saber does mean that when you Astral Step through, actually does proc the low.
Dire's bottom tower
so
is under attack.
between that
Bottom
and
tower has fallen.
Step slow, they actually don't move hardly. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there that it's not really gonna change.
7K at 16 minutes. This is typically when VP looks good. Was always with them ahead. Part of their issues in the international lands have been they weren't allowed to get this far ahead. Now Nightfall just YOLO TPing in top, doesn't care who might be there, full vision up, like the Wraith King is reincarnated.
Is under attack.
Paul seems very unconcerned about this one. He may be losing his first life here. The coil's gonna go out, locking down Thompson yet to be able to finish off the first life of Nightfall. It won't be able to get it. Now Sox is running away from Sade, who missed his first strike. Sox through the trees, knowing that DM wouldn't be able to pursue quite as easily, will manage to get out, but I'm not sure what exactly that idea was. Maybe they were hoping that Virtus Pro would 5-man up and Seb would be able to. Virtus Pro pretty cautious in some of their moves, keeping their spacing nicely for the moment. And even if he does manage to hit that Echo Slack, there's always Kingslayer with the rebuttal. Similar combo breaking ultimate.
How harsh am I allowed to do that?
As harsh as you want.
Radiant are scanning.
The Wraith King has a Radiance and a built-in Aegis Cap. They use a lot of spells. I watched Hoodwink channel an ultimate, and Astral in. There's nothing.
That move was dumb.
It was really dumb, Cap. Very dumb. It's not the kind of move that you expect to see out of players of this caliber, especially up against heroes like fucking Lion, even Wyvern, right? Any of these three, waiting in the wings or just late super, and it's going to be an immediate turnaround, specifically on a hero like Void Spirit, who, again, has an Echo Saber, rather than any method of cleansing silence. feeling a
Radiant's
additional
bottom
magical
tower
damage.
is under attack.
Team fight. So an earlier Orchid, I could have seen.
Yeah, an earlier Orchid would
Radiant's
have been
bottom
nice
tower
to kill the
is under
puck,
attack.
or
Yeah.
maybe assassinate
Radiant
some of the
structures are
forts, but
fortified.
as is, we don't have a
Dire's
decision.
top tower is under
He
attack.
can't even like hunt down the lion aggressive, or he gets off and then he attacks that he's probably dead.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, well they will finally get tier 1 tower here. Sumail is being gifted
Radiant's
this
bottom
one. The rest of
tower is
Virtus Pro not gonna back up.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The map setting up for a 2 push, perhaps, and going Roshan up.
Dire's
Trying
top
to
tower
chase
is under
Saksa
attack.
into a position where save can. Bushwhack going down, No Tail following up with a stomp.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Now what?
Dire's top tower is falling.
Tier 2 falls and OG runs away.
Hang on. Seb? Seb's
Okay.
got the blink.
The long walk around.
Double damage.
He tops in. Oh, they're gonna go
Locked in.
find him hot. They're gonna go for the kill on the save. Save tries, does manage to get off the Hex. The Spectre managed to finish him off first. They do manage to kill the 2 supports. First things first. That is the right way for OG to be able to win a fight. Now Seb's gonna show himself. Be careful around Nightfall. Eventually, he does kill Saksa in return. Here comes Seb. Does manage to get the jump on. Can they finish him off? They do. A stop to be able to follow that off as well. Thompson is out, and it looks like it's now up to Seb and Sumail trying to cover each other's tracks. Back to base, unfortunately, Seb not making enough life. Nightfall is just completely undeterred and unstalled out in every single one of these fights, blocking at people, banging on them until they die.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty solid fight from OG. Their only real way to take an engagement would be, as they did, kill off both supports. The trouble is, the Wraith King and Timber, they're simply unkillable at this phase of the game. They're much too strong. But all in all, a pretty solid team fight. And, you know, Sumail is closing in on his Manta. Just the Desolate maxed out will be a very important tool if they try and kill a hero like, say, Timbersaw later on. And Seb, he chose to go for the solo pup rather than the 2 strength force, but I think it was the right move because they do finish that kill on GPK, who I think has also made the right choice here. You can see he's got queued up and he on this. So really, all he fears is that Shaker combination. So just you'll be certain to get all of your spells off. Now an Orchid as well on Void Spirit. That's something to fear. Good coil.
Radiant's
So they,
middle tower is under attack.
Roshan, but they can't do anything about it. Which leads me to wonder, what's the point of scanning at all if you can't contest? I mean, Tail kind of posted them at the stomp, but ultimately they're not going to be found. Oh, the Orchid is going to be able to catch out GPK. He dies. OG with a big pickoff there. Maybe they can't contest Roshan and Virtus Pro, overextending themselves. The Bushwhack in Saksa, though, is not going to be able to find any follow-up from his ally.
The thing is, since they took this outpost, it becomes so much easier for VP to control the Rosh pit. You know, GPK now has an incredible location to teleport into. In addition, it gives them that vision and control. So, how does OG actually enter the pit when you consider there's not just 2 wards, but this other structure providing map control? So they're going to need some kind of smoke maneuver. Echo up in 10. Sumail's Haunted is ready. Not out of this, you know, we've been memeing a little bit, but OG, go! They just have to kill the supports.
Look at this setup, right? No Tail gets a really aggressive mid-ward
Radiant's
down.
bottom
They want to be able to
tower
find
is under
GPK
attack.
again. They know he's TPing in. GPK is the smart thing, though. He TP'd far to the left-hand side. Very safe position. They wouldn't be able to see him coming
Radiant's
in.
bottom tower is
They're
under
going to smoke
attack.
themselves on over. Stomp's going to be able to hit DM. Meanwhile, Roshan, easy to finish for his bro. Chased OG far enough away. Not going to be there to contest the Aegis. Up, Sumail. Could be chased after here. Go ahead and pop the haunts. They see saved. Hot Watch Winter's Curse immediately put on top of him. He tried to jump out to Kingslayer. Now he's going to be in serious trouble as the Coil follow up the 3-man drop as well. But Taco pullback does a bunch of damage, and Samael still coiled up. Is going to snap himself there. 3 cores dying out of OG as they all in committed for a kill that they cannot have.
Steady for BB.
Hopefully we have that today. To an impact play from that last engagement as Seb blinks in to the Winter's Curse and then gets absolutely obliterated by DM on the Timbersaw. Really nice pre-click orchid from Thompson. He prevented Save's initiation, but he got a bit greedy and tried to blow up the Wyvern with no actual stun or disable, and he just ulted. And from there, VP crushed through the fight.
Interesting.
Yeah, really well done by Kingslayer. We'll watch this one again. They jump him. And Thompson, I think, in a way, has the right idea.
There's Seb.
But yeah, he blinks into the AoE. He saw a 2-man echo and instead blinks a little bit too close to that Winter's Curse. That groups him all up for all of those. British players certainly don't have any lack of it.
See, the line has been drawn. Save giving the arrow and telling his team they're in their base, we will kill them shortly. But yeah, that was a 3-man lion stun, coil, silence, and
Radiant structures are fortified.
Very tough to live through that.
What do you think about Winter Wyvern's success at Samael? Hidden?
Gather around.
Keep it secret? Oh no, he's found. Coil. Just try and snap it and run through the trees here. And we'll be able to get a follow-up solo on Nightfall. Flamethrower also slowing him down there. Seems like a whole fire of 4 is far. It's going to be going up. 14,000 network lead. At this point, it feels like we're waiting for Virtus Pro to just close out the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, DM with his signature flamethrower, as previously seen in the 14/5 of McCluskey, and Thompson had just gone in, but there were multiple heroes there. He's in trouble.
Unfortunately, the Bushwhack not quite latching on to save for Thompson in his place. He dared to get a little bit too aggressive. Soxa also going to be found here. Never mind, Bushwhack first before Sage could get the disable out. Still, though, hard for this hoodwink to be able to get away safely. Wander's going to be able to find that kill on Soxa. Meanwhile, Nightfall finding some outbound. No tail. He was trying to stall this bottom tier 2 push, but well, apparently doesn't need any allies. They're showing 3 heroes at top, but it doesn't matter. He's still banging on the tier 2. He knows that OG can fight them.
This has been one of the more relaxing carry matches that you'll see. Once again, check out the play as it appears he just did. He died. Oh, they got saved.
Radiant's tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under
attack. For OG if they can get out, but they're bent Seb's TP away. Seb will manage to buy out a BKB as he dies. So at least he'll have that.
$17K gold lead cap. OG have been in this situation before. With a draft like this, they might find themselves in this situation again. So let's not count them out.
Yeah, what was when you were down by this month? Pretty often. What would you tell your team?
That's it, guys. You know, it's not over. Keep fighting.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The king and his court should never bow.
And typically, we would lose the game anyway. But
I was about to say, I mean, that wasn't a very inspiring speech.
Dire's middle tower.
I was not great at the motivation in games like this. It was one of my weaknesses.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks.
Well, Virtus Pro is just going to take that mid tower because Nightfall literally has been like ignoring 90% of the hero kills in this game. It's just like, I'm going to farm, I'm going to get objectives, and we're going to end this game as quick as possible.
Pretty much. I mean, shout out to DM, gets tri-lane, bodies his lane anyway, takes first tower in game.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Pretty much plays a typical Timbersaw. Maybe they next game, maybe try out the quad lane, because stopping this man's Timber was something no team in the Eastern European region could figure out. Not just season 1 of the DPC, but also season 2.
Dire's top barracks has fallen. Dire's top barracks.
What is it about Virtus Pro, man? Online matches, like, one of the best teams in the world, and then they just go to these.
Guess it's my shout.
They're not. Well, that's a little harsh. Although, interestingly enough, they did get, I believe it was a 2-1 against VP Gaming, if I'm not mistaken, in the bottom half of that lower bracket.
Your victory is.
What's crazy about that is that if they win that series, Nigma goes to TI. And VP doesn't.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I received the implication.
Yeah. Nigma had 670. They would have made it, but VT surpassed them with that win and got into top 8 from there.
Chilling out with this smoke. Khan's gonna go down, trying to find Sig. Immediately go for the Orchid kill on it. Able to save. Turn around, maybe. Earthshaker jumping in with his curse. Stops him from being able to get off the full combination here. JPK alive through it all is able to harass the back lines with Nightfall charging in at him. And they've got the Sables too to make sure Thompson's not 33-10. I think this game has been kind of over. I mean, wasn't looking at like a 90% free for the last.
Oh no, DM. He must have been listening to the cast. He's giggling. Definitely enjoying himself after that one.
Why would you say he's listening to? I don't think we're that far. He was having way more laughs than I.
That's true. I think him, from the side of Virtus Pro, is probably the most entertaining thing in that game. Like, at least we know that these 5 guys had fun. 5 guys on the other side of that.
5 seconds remaining. Virtus Pro's turn to ban. G's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Virtus Pro's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
VP already did that once to Viking. Today's the day of the V's. Finding victory, the most important V of all, as they take game number 1 over OG. And maybe OG need to tone down the creativity. Maybe they just let Topson handle the creativity. Seb knows what he's good at. Seb knows that he knows meta heroes. He doesn't need to step out of the box that much.
You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna disagree. Just because, look at that, the trophy, basking in the glory of the flamingo.
No. The flamingo is basking.
5
Oh
seconds
no, that's the right way. You're right.
Okay,
back to you.
Back to you, Tsunami. Oh no, can I finish my point about OG? Is that allowed?
Sure, yeah. Back to you, Tigo.
Thank you. Yeah, I think OG's creativity is exciting to watch, even though this game it was a absolute beatdown. I just think this is the build-up before the TI qualifiers, you know? I feel like this is the tournament where you can just throw ideas out there, because going into TI qualifiers, this is the information teams will use against you,
Did
right?
they pay you?
It
sounds like they've paid you to say this. Because that was a slaughter.
We are high on European copium, do not forget.
Speaking of V words, that was violent. That was
visceral.
Voracious.
Wow, I'm surprised you actually didn't go for that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's been your go-to.
I was trying to...
I'm proud of you, Jenkins. You can really... No.
Okay, so anyway, we have these TA finally getting through for Virtus Pro. We didn't really see it too much in previous competition, but, you know, Zhao 8 praised it. This could be another great showing from Virtus Pro.
And they don't ban out the Enchantress. Instead, they pick it up first pick, and OG follow up with an Axe and a Phoenix.
I like this opening concept from OG because it's kind of a soft cover to a potential TA in the idea that Axe fares pretty well into it if it is an offlane style of Axe. And the Phoenix is very good as support going into this kind of burst damage because you just put a Spirit down, you egg, you can live through. But this is also very susceptible to kind of grouping up and just running you down. That's what Eng TA like to do at, you know, the 15-17 minute mark.
True. Yeah, you have 2 ranged heroes that can hit the egg, and it's not so easy for Axe to get into range to protect the egg until he's got a blink dagger. And I think that, Enchantress, to me, one of the things between DPC Season 1 and DPC Season 2 that I personally saw a lot of Enchantress players start doing, and
in North America or everywhere?
Everywhere.
Okay.
Is that people started running creeps at the mid tower at like 5 minutes into the game. And I saw pub players doing this, and so this is something that's trickled down from these like good Enchantresses and competitive. And the reason that this is such a strong move is because at 5 minutes, nobody can kill a creep. Like, legitimately, you have to pick like some Mirana or something, and then you're kind of shoehorning a hero into your draft, and it feels really awkward. And even then, you don't necessarily kill the thing. And then pairing that with a hero like a TA that can do a lot of damage to the tower means that you're going to get a free tower at 5 minutes unless there's some crazy defense resource cost from the enemy side.
Additionally, Save does play this Enchantress a little bit more aggressive compared to other Enchers. The biggest comparison that I could make is between, for example, like a Tiger Enchantress on Liquid. He'd go a bit more aura buying, kind of tanking his front line, and then a Save Enchantress is more Dragon Lance and just kind of be a bit more in the fight, using his impetus and getting a bit more, aggressive.
That's the Chad way to play Enchantress. That's the Chad way.
It will come back to bite you, though. I think there was a series where Na'Vi built Armlet on their Enchantress.
Okay.
And then proceeded to waste that.
We're not going to talk about that.
What happened to Na'Vi? yeah, they're in shambles. Although their team looks good.
They got some new players.
They're looking good.
And you were talking about perhaps you would have to force the Mirana into a draft to deal with the Enchantress. It also feels like they forced the ban. Who is first phase banning Mirana? And as a result, OG are like, great, one egg hitter's gone. Let's pick up the Phoenix. You think that may be a little bit too tunnel vision-y from VP, or is it still okay?
I think VP's bans have been pretty good so far in the series. Just in regards to, they're not just thinking of meta, they're thinking of like the opponent they're playing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a big critique of VP coming into the series post-major, was their ability to look at their opponent and not just themselves. So I think, if anything, it's just warranting the fact that VP is opening up their strat book to being more inclusive to everything.
And one of the most important strat books was Templar Assassin. Like you said, it's very rare that they were able to get their hands on it at the Animajor, especially if we heard TA terrorizing scrims from VP, and then proceeded to get first phase banned constantly.
Wow.
Invoker.
Really? Into TA?
Into TA.
That is ballsy.
And that saves Smile. He's also thinking maybe the same thing. It's like, oof, look at that.
Yeah.
But I guess with the, double null, earn, phase boots, like, of course, laning phase doesn't feel great, like, but just the essence of the game, at least, the anti-aggression, that's maybe what OG's
That's
playing
true.
for.
Yeah, the gameplay. Okay, you can run at people. You can run at jungles with the Invoker. You go Quaswex and you go Invis and you just run in and you initiate. So you can invade the jungle with this hero. My only concern is if Invoker's not having a good game and you don't have any other heroes to do that, TA is just going to completely outfarm this hero.
This is one of the games where I feel OG needs to put emphasis on the blocking the small camp. We haven't seen it much within Pro Dota, but this is the type of game where I'd like to see them pre-bounty rune, make that move, get the sentry down, block that camp, and just disrupt the efficiencies of the TA. Because if you disrupt that, it can give Invoker just enough breathing room to play out.
The thing is, though, it's like 50 gold to counter that.
Put it on No-Tail. Like, No-Tail just buys a sentry. Supports are in the game.
That's what I'm saying, is if you're GPK, you just buy a sentry ward, and then you're going to check it like very quickly, right?
Or maybe the delayed block. Maybe like the 2-3 minute block, you come in and make the play.
No. You do it at 6 minutes. That way the TA rolls up. It's like, where's my neutral item?
Yeah, that's genius. Yeah. That's genius.
VP, though, picking up the Abaddon, they've played it carry before, they've played it 5 before, so this is very much like a more open pick where they'll see one more hero from OG and then decide what's happening. Because, of course, right now, if this was a carry Abaddon, there is really no pressure in the game because of the Phoenix, the spirits, you just purge that off.
This is another one of those double-sided things with regards to this Invoker. You have a hero that can purge the Cold Snap and the Vessel, which is going to be very annoying. But on the flip side, you also have a hero that doesn't like his mana to be drained, and he has a very low mana pool. So you're kind of picking into a counter in that sense. But also in the laning phase, you have Phoenix with dots, you have Axe with dots. Those are going to constantly purge. The Abba definitely wins this Phoenix Axe lane.
I guess the main thing here for VP, that looking through this, that it's just raw aggression. Like Dragon Lance Death on TA, any active item on may be this carry Abaddon, they're just going to run through. And now they pick the Viper. Oh, God. Oh, all of VP's picks just...
Jeez.
They're so sticky and annoying and just...
I could see a Viper Abba lane doing absolutely incredibly versus Axe Phoenix. I mean,
are you saying it's Viper 5?
I think it might be a Viper carry.
Like how Arteezy did it?
Yeah, and
they lost the game though, but...
Well, sure, but you have your TA mid, right? So this hero is going to be your one naturally, no matter what you pick in a carry position. I see that being like, if I'm Axe in that lane, I just want to go next.
If anything, I'd actually like to see Ench for Viper off lane, and then maybe pick up a last pick 5, and then you just have this hyper aggressive double ranged off lane beating down, because like this Grimstroke pick, this is not going to be an enabler. This is no heal concept.
Why are we operating under the assumption that this is an Abaddon carry?
Yeah, currently. VP's done it before. That's why I'm currently stirring the pot.
You need the Ench to be versus the Grimstroke because you purge the bubble. So that's a given. I think there's no way that you don't put the Ench versus the Grim. The question is, who are you putting with the Ench? And I think the Viper Ench lane, that's such a strong lane. You just push the wave.
Look at these bans, the PL, the CK this year. I've got the Abba carry tingles, but maybe we're getting baited. We'll see from this pick. If it's just a casual 5 because of Viper off lane, they've got like a minute and a half to think about it, but if it was to be a support here,
Admiral
Okay, good Kunkka.
Okay, we still don't know anything. Very good.
No, DM played a lot of Kunkka offlane in his pub, so right now I think this solidifies the fact it's TA mid, Kunkka offlane with Ench.
But we don't know who the carry is. We don't know if it's Viper or Abba, right?
Exactly, but that's fine. We've whittled it down to it's Viper or Abba. I'd like to see Abba carry Viper 5 personally. Just because it's kind of the VP hallmark.
Either way, we have. It really depends on what they want for the game. Because I think the lane, either way, is going to be one. As long as they get versus the Axe Phoenix.
I speak for the
and then they go back for the Furin.
Okay, so they're going full tempo.
Yeah.
To deal with this.
I still have questions on who's the carry on OG. Is it carry Axe or carry Nature's Prophet?
Let's
tune in.
Hold on, here we go.
All right, Seb on the Axe, offlane Axe.
Viper.
Nightfall on the Viper.
All right.
And it's going to be offlane Kunkka, and it's going to be a support Abaddon.
It is a carry Viper. Oof.
Cool.
Okay. Oof. All right. We wanted DP,
wild.
Yeah, we wanted DP to come into this game with a bit more of a fresh take, and I guess this is it. Taking the carry Viper from EG, going for an offlane Kunkka. This is going to be great. This is going to be fun.
Dude, it's like these guys aren't playing for tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, what are these strategies? These are wild. These are crazy.
Yeah, we're making it feel like this is just like, a little freebie tournament in between quals and the major.
It's almost as much as the major. Per team, it's more than the major.
It is more money than the major.
200k if they win it, basically. Bar 25k because they rounded it up just to be cool.
Dota, what a beautiful esport where you can have a prize pool like this and it doesn't even come up in the discussion.
This is the first time, I think.
I know. Wait, it's the first time?
What a ridiculous game we have.
Which way you going for this game number 1? Quick thought, Jenkins.
I'm going to go VP. I think the Viper Abba lane is beastly.
Okay. T?
I think Furin scales better than Viper, so I'm going to maybe pip that, but let's just fuck out and get to analyze it after the game. Let's not guess. Let's go.
Let's tune in with Cap and Kyle for game number 2.
Thank you, Sunil.
For battle.
That's right. We have a very different kind of draft on both sides. This time around, Sumail's going to be playing that safe lane Prophet that he's been practicing so much, and on top of that, we off lane they've got the Viper, Kyle, the Nightfall Viper. Definitely. Really? Why definitely?
I'm sorry, I keep... you were muted on Discord, now I mute myself in the program. Apologies, everyone. I am casting from a dinghy in the middle of an ocean. Some tech issues. We'll get those sorted out by tomorrow. But hey, it's a better draft. Cap, to your point, carry Furion. This worked great for EG and RTZ until the finals. And I think Sumail made this look really good in the series they played earlier today as well.
Well, I guess they are going to be doing a little bit weird lane shenanigans. So what is it they want to get the match? I assume you want the Furion versus the Viper lane?
Yeah, I think it's more actually about playing against the Ench, because you can't actually really play that much Dota as an Enchantress. Eventually the 2 waves come out and creeps just run at you. I'm surprised, to be honest, they didn't put Sumail mid, honestly, against TA, but I suppose you can't really side lane an Invoker. I just think this matchup is very TA favored.
All right, so the Kunkka and so DM and Nightfall were just chilling. They were waiting in the triangle together until somebody showed themselves, because we are going to have a bit of musical chairs going around, especially since it's a Nature's Prophet, so he naturally will usually get whatever lane it wants. So they really want to be able to have Viper into the Axe lane instead of the ranged Nate Prophet core. Sumail is getting totally finally going to show up.
I think this is the right call, though, to your point. Viper just kind of owns Axe, the Nether Toxin.
Oh, he's actually keeping bottom. They're going to get the kill on Nightfall, perhaps. If Battle Hunger's going to be able to slow him down, he drops a Nether Toxin, but he's honestly just trying to fight Nightfall to get the first blood. Smart read there by Nightfall. Instead of just trying to keep running, he gets the kill before he would inevitably die anyways. Well done.
And this is cool from Sumail. regular or hero TP down, then tanks the creep wave to ensure it'll sit in front of his tower. Now set at the can walk top. If he TP's top, Sumail can immediately go back up there. As you see the impact play, Grimstroke of No-Tail just a little too aggressive, to be honest. Did not need to get in there like that, and loses the first blood because of it.
All right, they're gonna swap lanes here, but you can see Seb actually read that. He stuck around this bottom lane. Once they show the heroes, like, they can't change this again. So they TP the Viper up to top lane, DM swaps down the bottom. Sumail uses his teleport to go up to top lane. They've gotten lanes that they wanted once again. Fortunately for Virtus Pro, GPK is gonna be walking away with a win in the mid lane. So they may not be having the best fun in the side lane. Currently dominating. Chop 11-4 and a kill.
I think a big part of that. This is one of the reasons.
Oh, Kingslayer, he got the 4 stacks before the teleportation could complete, and they get that kill as well. Virtus Pro, man, they're surprising me here with the side lane act. I don't think they should have been able to get any kills.
I mean, yeah, but the part of the reason, we talked about this a lot, but even in the commentary, I think it was from Zhao 8 that was translated on Reddit earlier, VP just crushed everybody with TA. And then they kept picking it, and people had answers. But a big part of the reason it was so effective is because of this early point in melt. It is so good, especially against a hero like Invoker. You take him to negative armor with just level 1 melt.
Push in, Inkswell blocked a little bit, so Seb won't be able to pursue for that kill onto DM. He's obviously going to have a rough one against an ever be good for you. Single time he approaches close to the creep wave, he's getting battle hungered, and even closer, run at him, right click, draw creep at him. So, thanks to you. EMP Tornado out mid lane. GPK is going to be using all of his mana, but to have water runes coming. So another big reason why TA feels pretty good right now, right, Kyle, is the fact that you get a bottle, you've got infinite refraction.
He would have had a free bounty too if he had checked it in that top area of the map. He didn't go for it.
Dire's courier.
Zed's going to use that Inkswell to run away, and will manage to land the Torn. Is he actually going to die here? Zed pops a fairy fire, but he is very, very low. Fortunately, Stroke slows him down, but damn, he's able to catch up. He gets the kill. He gets the courier kill as well.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I feel like this is the lane that Virtus Pro should lose, but they're winning.
Yeah, so far winning in all lanes, to be honest, but I think part of it is just because Sumail is forced to play in the top lane, right? It's the level 1 and 2 advantage that I think Furion really has, but now that you don't have that gold advantage, Nightfall, you got 2 players, and we already saw Kingslayer with the silence removes the free TP away, so Sumail has to be a lot more cautious now. I just don't, I don't think it's a strong enough lane with just the Phoenix, Cap. Especially because, the shield off of the initial Fire Spirit. Just a very simple damage turnaround.
GPK, they're going to try and go for him here. They do have the Cold Snap once to get switch over time of the fire. GPK is going to be saved here by Body Shield. Turns around, goes for the kill on the side. Gets it too. In fact, he's going to be able to be strong enough. He chases down Sumail as well. Sumail very likely to die here. GPK going to be bailed out once again by the Aphonic Shield. He stays alive, and he stays alive.
He didn't refraction.
What? He said he stays alive, and I'm watching him tank damage, and I'm like, well, he's gonna pop refraction, right? He just didn't hit the button.
He died to Treant?
He died to a Treant hit, yeah. He was gonna pop refraction for the next Invoker hit, and he just straight up did not see the Treants.
God, sorry, Cap. I was checking out chat, and they all said my mic was a lot better this game, but it was because I was still muted, Cap.
Tribute to my house.
It's very rude of the community, but it's okay. I'll take that constructive criticism, and I think after this series, a lot of the fans might also have some for OG, perhaps a little bit for GPK. Let's check out the reaction. Yeah, a little mirth. He knew he messed up.
Dire are scanning.
Tornado, Kingslayer, gonna be caught in the river. OG will get their 3rd kill of this laning phase, but it's requiring them to pretty much run multiple heroes around the map, which leaves Virtus Pro totally free in the bottom lane right now. They're going to try and use this Siege Wagon push with a Dark Troll Summoner, even better, so we can summon some skeletons, take power. This is a dead tier 1 for sure. Meanwhile, Saksa, he's with that top lane as well. So Virtus Pro continuing to find wins in the side lane.
Once again, all 3 cores, top net worth cap. And I gotta say, I love watching DM play Kunkka. I think it's built for his style of play. And it's a really nice addition to his hero pool. Especially with an Enchantress, you have so much catch and kill potential. And as demonstrated by this game, it's a very dominant lane. But so far, OG just outmatched, and they're the team with the Furion. They're the ones that want to be applying pressure. And I just don't know how they're going to do it. Sed has an Urn instead of the classic Vanguard that we see pretty much every Axe. God. Right?
That is weird.
Did we see a game?
Under attack.
I don't think there was a single game where an Axe did not buy a Vanguard. Notail going to be pulled back here into his
Hilarious.
Trying to defend a tier 2 tower, but ends up committing a bit too much. Sumail still trying to find his level 6. Maybe once they get the Wrath of Nature and Thompson is ready to move around the map, they can find some kills. But for now, it's just Virtus Pro dominating the lanes and at results able to run at whatever hero shows up in lane and try to kill it.
Yeah, and oh man, GPK is just so huge right now. He just stacked his own Ancients again. And that's a quad over there, it looks like. Nah, triple, but either way, that's a lot of gold waiting for him. And he's just CSing in the mid lane, going for the Dragonlance build as expected. And PP just has total control of the Radiant jungle. Wards and heroes swarming.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Got a Dark Troll Summoner. Lots of travel pickup for Nightfall as he shows up bottom lane right as he was about to get ganked. Meanwhile, the mid lane is being pressured as Thompson comes back in. Tornado EMP. It's going to burn out a bit of GPK's mana, but he is going to be saved by the Aphonic Shield. It's going to be hard for them to continue running. He doesn't have a way to be able to cut down the trees, so he turns around and fights a little bit. Another heal coming up from Kingslayer. The last shot dodges the stroke. GPK will stay alive, and Thompson now is the one in trouble as the final hit from DM finishes him off. Now they're going to catch the mail as well. X pulling him back in. No tail.
No.
Jesus.
Oh no. It's even worse than last time, Cap. VP everywhere. They're just bringing the whole squad. And man, I gotta say, shout out to Kingslayer on the Abaddon. Just consistently keeping his TA alive. OG have so many active debuffs.
Radiant's
the shield
middle
is just
tower is under attack.
Really is. I mean, you putting an Aphonic Shield onto Templar Assassin, it feels like you can never turn around and fight this TA. Between Refraction and Aphonic Shield, like the limited time that Refraction is on cooldown, Aphonic Shield is being...
Wait! Thompson has an Urn, Cap!
I left my hoofprints in your backside.
They've got 2 urns on OG, but they don't have kills in either one of them.
Why? What is wrong with this OG? Why did he go and earn on Axe when he's got a Quad 2X Invoker?
And confirm Saksa is not buying an Urn, which is a good sign for OG.
Okay.
They're only down 7k gold at 10 minutes, so it's still
Dire's middle
not
tower
over.
is
And I
under
think
attack.
it's very important that we examine this in an unbiased fashion. OG, This is TI winners. Okay, 2-time TI champions, along with the King, now playing on the safe lane. The trouble with it is BP, they brought King slick, and so far, very tough for Sumail to deal with him here. It's the X, the TPs, the homies.
That's why they're trying to deal with Kingslayer. The Supernova, just to try and kill a safe lane about that. It's not going to feel great. Should they eventually get the kill, but they're going to lose 2 cores in the bottom lane. It's Nightfall is not one to be trifled with, especially if he's got the Kunkka to provide the disables that the core Viper sorely lacks. So Nightfall's just able to pump out the damage. DM makes him tanky and provides disables. It's a beautiful combo, honestly. And he's going to set up for this top lane as Viper won't be able to boss it just yet. for another 4 seconds. Instead, they're going to try and bring the Templar Assassin in. If they can keep GPK close by, the boots of travel almost complete. GPK will get the kill first, though. Nightfall shows up in order to claim the last hit on both him. No Tail will manage to get away with, though. TP out, they had no disables left. But as he said, Virtus Pro, they're just bringing the whole squad to every single team fight. OG, I thought they were going to be the ones outnumbering Virtus Pro in team fight because they've got a core Nature's Prophet. That's just not the case.
Indeed. And, where was this VP all these lands, Cap? Because this is when they look the best. They're just swarming. Right on target.
Too close to the secrets.
But GPK is 2-1-6 right now. Nightfall is 5-1-2. DM 6-0-6. The offlaner yet to die in this game.
Blessings.
And the vision too. They got 4 wards on the
Radiant's
map.
top tower has
Just
fallen.
controlling everything. And yeah, I mean, bear in mind, Nightfall, like, he didn't even get build-up items. He was just like, I'll buy bots. This Dragonlance will be the second item he completes. And he's just, he can't keep getting away with this, Cap.
Is under attack.
Well, I feel like they are going to keep him away with this. As Zeb is going to be found. Spot him, get the vision, 2 DM to get his combo off. He doesn't hit the axe directly. Just plays off the creep wave with the Tide Frame. Looking at him and save. They've certainly got enough. Kingslayer forced to use his ultimate in the mid lane. Not that he really cares. He's just going to sit behind Nightfall. See if OG wants to do anything. I mean, unless they go Manta Axe, which they are not, I don't know how OG's lineup possibly outscales Virtus Pro when you're
Radiant's
already down
bottom tower is
10,000
under
network.
attack. Radiant are scanning.
Quite tough. TA, typically when we see it lose to me, it's because you get ran at, you know?
Radiant's
you
middle
don't have this
tower is
ability
under
to
attack.
farm lane and jungle and ancient stacks casually. It's like you're
Dire's
strolling
top
through the
tower
map
is under
now,
attack.
and GP just challenge up this. They don't have 2 great forces
Dire's
protecting
top
them.
tower has fallen.
They see mid, and Viper is just pushing bot with bots ready. He'll TP in now, but if nobody defends bottom on OG, they're gonna know that they've come over
Radiant's
to fight them
bottom
at
tower
Roche.
is under attack.
Double Meld Strike makes Roshan super easy to take as he only has 4 armor, so that'll go down before OG even get close to the pit. Nightfall's just gonna running at them, seeing if any of these heroes. Spot Saksa, long range hit is able to slow him down. Saksa rounds the corner, TP's out. They managed to cut down the tree. Really smart read by Nightfall, cutting down the tree to help give vision a little bit faster.
Is under
DM, who ultimately stops the TP out with an axe.
It's actually a really nice thing that VP have done here. They've got 3 Quelling Blades. It's a must-have against Prophet lineups. A lot of the times when you see this hero take over a game, especially from the safe lane, it's because the Sprout acts as like a 4-second stun. And Abaddon specifically is at risk, so really cool that Kingslayer picked one up. And of course the Viper too is just hard countered by Sprout, so you gotta grab one yourself as well.
GPK is about a 3-shot no-tail almost. It took 4, but none of those was a meld strike. He just didn't want to expend the mana.
Are scanning.
This is getting embarrassing.
Whoa, Cap. You don't want to say stuff like that unless... Wait, are your DMs open?
I do have open DMs.
Oh, Cap.
OG fanboys, the OG themselves. Feel free to have a word with me. But, I mean, this Virtus Pro team, online seems to be their specialty. I look forward to watching them dominate this tournament and then go to TI and look totally different. That is what has been said by them. It's not surprising, I guess, just because they're a young squad. And I've also heard, especially this last major, they started off doing to cut the creep wave. Does manage to kill the creeps thanks to the Wrath of Nature, but dies to...
Nightfall, he blitzed the creep wave as he TP'd in just before a final spin when it killed it off. And keeps poison attack toggled to autocast, so straight up kills him through it. And now they're pushing high ground 60 minutes in, Cap.
Well, the backdoor protection is going to go back up thanks to the Wrath of Nature killing the creep waves. So Virtus Pro are going to have to take a 30-second timeout here, wait for the next one. But that is the problem, right? nothing stopping them. Quelling Blade, spots Zaksa. DM barely gets in range with a max out.
Is under attack.
And we'll go back into the game. Who wants Virtus Pro continue their reign of terror OG? Thankfully, there's 2 lanes of barracks. I don't know how they initiate. They're still trying to figure out how to get Seb into this game. He's very close to a Blink Dagger, and we'll be able to pick one right as his melee barracks. Thompson actually going for the deny. Don't think that actually works. That's it for barracks. But, you know, Soulblind, they're actually going to be able to keep these heroes in place. The Supernova explodes, catching GPK, but he has the Aegis, so they can't really go for him. Seb is going to be coming down here with his Blink Dagger. Maybe they could do something with this one. It's going to be out without no kill. Actually going to buy back, so maybe they still can take this 5-on-4. Okay, never mind. Now it's 4v4. Another call there, man. Initiation on the GDK, but again, he's the one with the Aegis. I don't know if he's the target you really want to go for as they lose Thompson in the middle of it. And I mean, just that initiation makes me feel like OG doesn't have a game plan at all.
Cap, Seb, he's level 10. Like, bless his heart. I love the tenacity to get in there and land a call. But as you said, that's a TA with an Aegis. And unfortunately, VP, the machine is fully loaded. And they just have far too much damage. You need a longer fight.
Again, Neo is going to show up and does manage to kill Kingslayer. DM, though, going to keep Seb in place. Oh, God, the pure damage from Save is too much. These impetus shots raining on, and now they've got an Aghanim Scepter on GPK. Dude, Templar Assassin in a winning game with Aghanim Scepter is so
Radiant's
terrifying.
middle tower is under attack.
And I just love the side blades have been on point from GPK. You can see why they were so comfortable picking this at the major. Just he's side blading off the Phantom, Grimstrokes.
There goes that. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Okay, we see the lines drawn. OG, they've got a plan. Control enemy jungle, mirror the map, keep VP chasing you instead of attacking your structures.
Well, I mean, that was Nightfall's drawings.
Oh.
He's the one saying they're gonna play up here, go kill them.
Oh no, the
Aghanim says, oh. They managed to get away, but the problem is, all they showed was the Templar Assassin who could just as easily teleport to the bottom.
Oh my god, he almost died to creeps.
If he just died to creeps, I think OG just straight out calls GG.
No, you don't GG out till the
just
throne
call
dies,
GG
Cap.
to avoid further embarrassment.
I will say, where has this VP been? Like, from the draft to all the prettiness, like, this is the VP I feel like we got used to seeing over the last 6 months. And OG, like, look, are they playing great? No. But end of the day, they just got bodied in lanes. And if you get bodied in lanes against heroes like you're going to lose the game. So I don't want to read too much into it. Thompson has a Midas. He's closing in on the Cataclysm. 900 gold away from Ags.
Okay, so if they get Cataclysm with a call, they're going to jump in. It's out on the call. Seb, Suicide trying to create the space for Supernova. Unfortunately, that egg
under attack.
Open, and GG is called. Okay, 20-minute GG game 2. Virtus Pro looked very good.
Victory.
OG, unfortunately, a little bit less than lackluster, but maybe that's just because Virtus Pro is so good.
Yeah, with 2 teams using new carries today, Cap, Liquid, of course, with Insania, and OG with Sumail. I really thought that we would have seen a more of a clear difference.
But yeah, that's I don't know. OG, it felt like I thought I had faith. I was like, all right, they played with Sumail before. They're gonna come back in, and they'll probably get into gear quickly. And sadly, Virtus Pro made them look like a lower division team. The way that they just Virtus.pro, again, looking very good online matches. I just hope they're able to figure. If they continue to look like this from the rest of the tournament, like they're going to be one of the favorites for TI, but at the same time, they've yet to be able to prove that they can perform on land. It's a super interesting story, I think.
And Europe is stacked, man. Like, Tundra looks great. Viking looks great. Nigma is here. Liquid with Boxy back. This region is strong. And, I don't want to take anything away from VP. They dominated. We expect this from the team of this caliber. I just hope that they can play like they do online, offline.
Yeah, certainly. OG, meanwhile, they're going to be heading down to the lower bracket where they will match up against Liquid, who did lose